Who else should the stream go out to?
Ooh, Josh
All of our
Lee
fans.
was asking.
Final lap.
I'm staying at Josh's and Lydia's tonight.
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's off Eldon.
I guess you shouldn't dox him, dude.
Yeah.
They live at 3321 Eldon
We're
Ave.
live.
even
We're
know.
live on the air right now.
I don't even know what their address is.
Yeah, good.
I just know the street and then what house it is.
I just know the street, the zip code. They're next to the
Guess
large
I
RV.
guess I shouldn't have asked.
It's kind of
All
close
right,
to
I
where
just
you
texted
live.
you the link.
Okay.
Do you want it, Jesse?
It's barely close.
The stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
mean, yeah, I guess.
Send it out to your CRM.
Sure.
Remember that move?
What's that?
The episode that you said that you'd send the link out to your CRM at work.
Oh. I should.
All right.
All right, I'm flying deaf here, but
Sounds
We'll
good.
keep you.
we'll see.
You just need to look.
Yeah, just
Right
look
over
at that
there.
tiny little screen.
Do you think it would be better if we put the laptop right there so you were just looking at the laptop?
I don't
If you were
know.
just looking at the camera like this the whole time.
I think it's better when you just kind of like are looking at each other. And
Yeah, but
talking to each
The
other.
problem with that is that when you're not directly like in front of the microphone, so if you like turn this way,
You can't
Yeah.
hear
the
shit.
audio gets fucked
Yeah.
because you're not.
But Jake, you should put yours like I have mine, kind
Yeah.
of, you know?
Try to.
I'm trying to be like in.
Don't
this
we have
corner.
another arm one like
Ooh,
these?
do we?
Or do we only have 3?
No.
I guess maybe our plan was always to have I didn't see it over there, so I think we don't have it. Are you hiding it somewhere, bro?
Maybe.
I think we just had one of those, and then I think you got.
2 of these would make sense.
Yeah.
Buying them in a pair would.
Gesticulating wildly,
Oh, good times, good times.
referencing the board.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, I think we're
Dude, I
ready.
think
Did you
I'm
send it to
gonna
Chad? Chad wanted it.
Oh, did I include Chad in that one? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna.
Chad,
I
Brad.
think I will.
When?
I mean, you never know. There's been some banger maze.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. We're Jesse, I think, is pretty solidly.
I'm locked in.
As long as it does not snow anymore.
It can snow a little more. I got 7 inches.
How much
To
snow
spare.
did it get in April?
Jake, you should take the cable off of your leg and put it up on the thing so that way when you move it doesn't creak.
Right? We're at
No, the mic cable, not the headphone cable.
283. So I guess 6 inches to spare.
All right. How's
Yeah,
that?
I think
Good.
that'll be better.
Cool.
Then,
Oh,
then we can fix
Here's a
it.
good question. If after Mammoth closes and they get a foot, that doesn't count. It's seasonal operations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
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 I think you're winning,
To
dude.
closing day at the resort.
Yeah. I just got to survive. Like a freak storm in late June isn't
Yeah.
going to fuck me over.
No.
Okay.
Should we introduce ourselves? We're live.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Welcome, loyal followers, listeners, and patrons.
We love
Two.
you.
Episode number.
2.
Oh, welcome to 118 West.
No, amateur hour.
Oh, we're still going by amateur?
Yeah,
hour?
this
The-
is the
the
final,
final
this is
ep.
the last
This is the
episode.
final
Oh,
episode
okay.
of the Amateur Hour.
Gotcha. Well, welcome everyone.
We're trying to graduate.
It's amateur hour.
It's a show with 4 amateurs about West Coast surfing, skiing, and technical difficulties.
Although there's been less as of late.
We're still rolling strong with them. We've just
Yeah.
switched up which kind of difficulties we're experiencing, but audio is pretty consistent. We had technical
We've run into
difficulty.
new problems.
Did we unmute ourselves?
Oh,
Yeah, it shows green. Maybe put on Can you put it on your phone? Someone
Yeah,
to see.
we'll test it.
But yeah, what up? This is our final episode because we're gonna change the name of this because there's already another
We
amateur
did
hour.
receive a
Yeah.
cease and desist.
Yep.
We're not supposed to talk about that though.
mute ourselves?
Nice. Yep. We did unmute ourselves.
Maybe can you put it on your phone? Yeah.
Yep, I think it sounds good. Yeah, so the final episode, we lived a quick life, but a fast and productive
One season.
life. Yeah, we're gonna continue on. It's gonna continue just by a different name. We don't want to jock Barstool Sports, golfing
Can't compete.
podcast,
No, we don't.
Not yet,
We
at
don't wanna
least.
interrupt that.
but it's
I don't think we would ever be able to compete with that chick.
No.
I think she's got it. I think like she's.
Do you
got
think you could take her at golfing?
Dude, and
What about
yeah,
on the basketball? No, I agree.
And we don't want to be affiliated with that. It's
No,
such
I agree.
terrible
She's
content.
like a good-looking blonde woman who like just she. First of all, she just I think she's better at this than any of us, all of us combined are, and I think she wants it more than we do. So
That's probably
I
true.
don't think like we would stand a chance.
Yeah.
But we got a full couch on our final night for amateur hour. This is a max. This couch can accommodate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can it do four? Forfeit's all right though, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty comfortable.
I keep hitting this thing though.
Our
Like,
remote correspondent Ryan is on the couch.
Yeah, back.
here in the flesh.
It's good to be back, boys.
It's been awesome to have you back, Ryan.
Yeah, dude, you
Surfing.
should bail on going to Florida and just post up back here.
I'll be back.
No, don't let your dreams be dreams, Ryan.
Yeah.
You should go.
I gotta get some experience.
Let your dreams become nightmares. You'll be back here, dude. Would you, like 3 weeks after you get back, you'll be like, I still have fiberglass under my damn fingernails.
Hopefully not. I'll try to wear gloves. You know. Wear
You
the
gotta
proper
speak right into the
PPE.
mic, dude.
Yeah.
Wear
Slow.
the proper PPE.
Ooh,
We
there
wanna
you go.
hear your-
You hear that?
Baritone voice,
All
Ryan.
right, hold on.
You need another pillow behind you,
I think so.
or you're not getting
Yeah,
mine, dude.
stack those two. Ryan's out of practice on the couch.
Yeah.
He's been
Sorry,
phoning it
guys.
in from June.
Ryan, what have you been up to? Big Dog, you're our 118 West North correspondent.
Yeah. So being back south, it's been sweet. Did a little surfing camping trip. Scored a little bit at Sano. Was a little chaotic. Was
Nice.
a fun first day back. Wasn't expecting that groundswell that we had last week, or what was it, a week and a half ago now.
How big was Sano?
Sano was well overhead for sure.
Wow.
But it was really more like storm surf. So
Mm.
it wasn't like cool big Sano where it was peaky. It was just waves all over the place, and we all got worked.
Probably not that crowded though, huh?
No, I mean we had to wait in a little bit of a line to get in. To get in, you know, but whatever. Whatever.
Dude,
We're gonna be
no.
there all day.
Was it really windy or no?
No, to be honest, it was pretty sweet.
I
No.
cannot abide by that.
There, it seems like amongst
If you're
our
there
friend
all
group,
day, I don't care.
there's like a stark line drawn in the sand. There's people that Sano, and people that say, "Hell no, I won't go."
Dude, do you ever remember
It's-
waiting in a line when we were kids?
No, it's a
Not
new
kids,
thing.
even in our 20s.
But I was trying to explain. I was trying to
I don't know.
explain
I feel
this
like
to Chad because Chad is super hyped on San Onofre, and I went down there once with him, and I was like, it's just too. I don't. It's too long of a drive for the quality of surf,
yeah.
and so I was telling him this, and I was like, you're just in your Sano phase, Chad. I totally get it. I remember being like that with like surf spots where it's just no matter what, we were always going to go like you have like a default favorite spot, and Chad's in his Sano phase.
I'm
right
in
now.
that phase right now, just in a different spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think my limit for Sano, if the waiting is longer,
3 hours.
no, if it
4.
if it is coming up to
5.
like more than 25 cars,
Isn't there a point of no return though?
well, there's like a dirt road, and you could just drive the
Ba-
opposite
yeah.
way.
You can
Oh,
bail
Like
on
you
it.
could totally bail and be like, "No, dude, I'm fucking driving away. Don't even drive this way."
The thing is, for
I'm
me,
not waiting.
and I think David's probably the same way. If I drive down there, I'm either gonna go to uppers or trails.
But
Trails if I want the
what's
true
the
like.
what's
So-
the appeal of Sano over trails?
I think for Chad, it's like
shorter
no
paddle
walk.
out?
Like you can literally pull
well,
your
that
vehicle
is
up.
the appeal. Is the fact that you can just park your car, reverse it in, have a whole hang
On
right
the
there
beach.
on that little beach that they do kind of have sometimes.
And it's a
It-
much better wave than trails.
sure.
Realistically, it's a
It really
cobblestone.
is.
It's like a cobblestone reef almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can
Trails
have
is sand and
sessions
bottom.
out there where, like, yeah, it's maybe crowded in the morning, but you just hang out, you just kind of chill, watch it for a little while, and then you're like, oh, there's actually not that many people out.
Have you surfed San Onofre ever? Even
Many a time.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't been there since it's been all washed out. It's been years. But yeah, we used to go all the time.
Oh, really?
We were there, David, the day I backed in the avalanche into someone's.
You
Remember?
gotta
yeah,
talk.
talking to the mic.
That's where we went.
Yeah,
wait.
that's where we were coming home from.
Yes. Yep. But yes,
Dang,
been
dude.
many a time. We used to go with all the dad would go down.
Oh
and
yeah,
take,
I
like,
guess
all
that's
the,
right.
We used to
I
go
don't
there
know.
kind of a lot.
Yeah,
But
we had a San phase too.
there was never a line. Never waited in a line, dude. That's
Yeah.
just crazy.
I don't know. I kind of remember as a kid sometimes having to wait in lines
Never. Not
when
for
my
me.
dad would take us on weekends.
I think trails is if there's surf, trails is plenty good enough wave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
I
have to-
agree.
Doesn't take wind well though.
I will agree,
Yeah.
though, that there are lines way more often. That people are trying to go to Sano all the time now. It is not a secret spot by any means.
Yeah, no.
You know what would be an interesting idea? It would never work and there'd be tons of cheating. But I've thought about this before. What if California got so popular with surfing, it became like, like the gas shortage in the 70s? What if it became like more of a lottery system or system where like you had like you could surf 3 days a week and like they divided it down in half where it's like,
I think they would build wave pools.
That seems
before
like a
that would
Gavin
happen.
idea. Gavin Newsom.
But
I don't think that would ever get
imagine what it would do for the lineup. Like, yeah, you'd miss some amazing
quotas, lineup quotas.
Well,
and-
dude,
there'd
in
be
Newport
such
Beach, you had to have a
anarchy.
permit for
Yeah.
your board.
Wait, what?
You used
Way
to.
back when.
Remember, Dad had a longboard with the surfing permit on the back or on the bottom of it, and you'd have to like they'd drive by and like PA people, and you'd have to show your board up with like the permit.
Like you'd split the weekends, so someone gets, and it would alternate every other year. So you get Saturday, you'd get like 1 year you'd get 4 days, the next year 3 days, and you'd each get a weekend day. And like the fines would be outrageous if you got caught, like coming out of the water by like any authority. And
you
it
think
was
if
not
you
your
had-
day.
Sounds like Chinese.
Do you think if you had funds, you could grease the wheels and get yourself a 7-day-a-week surfing
Yes,
pass?
you know it would happen.
Yeah,
But imagine that if half it. I mean, it would do wonders. I think for like crowding.
No, it's
Yeah.
already like
It
that.
would
First of
not-
all,
never
it's
happen.
80% of the people get 2 days a week to surf, and that's Saturday, Sunday, and 20% of the people get to surf.
I mean, it's
7 days a
completely
week.
unenforceable, but it would. I think it would
Yeah,
help.
I agree. I think David is right. There's no way. Even if you came up with that idea and it tried to be enforced, there would be no way people would. Oh, as soon as the first good swell
For
came
sure.
through,
Yeah, nah, dude. Sorry,
I would
bro.
love to see the enforcement efforts when it was pumping.
Hey, I mean, there was some
Yeah,
pretty
there
serious
is
enforcement efforts in the
no-
70s. They fire hosed people off surfboards.
yeah,
so-
but they didn't have the amount of surfers that we have.
yeah, you'd be
these
dealing with
days.
the whole state. Being
That
like,
would
no,
be
dude,
so
you're
funny,
a
dude."
Wednesday guy.
Imagine they have like Newport Beach PD on jet skis zooming around the lineups, water hosing people that don't have stickers.
well, something's got to change, or maybe we just need like heavy localism.
You think something's got
Returning.
to change? I don't think it's that big of an issue.
Jesse, when was
yeah.
the last time crowds affected your surfing?
Refugio, it's terrible. There was 5 other guys out.
Yeah, and they were all camping with us. I knew
terrible.
them all by name.
This is, I think, the strength of Jesse's argument is backed by his most recent surfing
Hey,
experience.
I prefaced it with it's never going to happen. So we don't need to paint me as being.
But it's disturbing that you want it to happen.
Yeah, it is disturbing.
I think it'd be great.
You also just don't surf, so why does it matter to you?
So that way he can have
It-
4
Hey,
days a
speaking
week
of-
still
where
irritates
it could
me
just be
to-
him.
The thought.
Speaking
the
of
thought,
that-
The thought of all these noobs out there is still irritating.
Could you ever, with your work, can you ever surf on like a Wednesday or Thursday?
I could, yeah.
You should, dude.
Why don't you?
It'd be
I
so.
don't know. It's. I think I've thought about this before because I'm always in the group text where it's like David's saying like, "Oh, Mags is this or that," and I think about like, I could do that. But I think it's a combination of a couple things. I'm just not near as into it as David because I think it's not fair to compare you. Like you have a more free lifestyle, right? But David's a good comparison because he has kids and I have kids, but. It's an issue of geography. I am way farther away from the ocean than David is,
you're
and then
half
I'm
an
also
hour
just
from uppers.
I'm also just not that as into it. So you combine those two things, and it's like I'm often up.
Come on, Jesse, surf with your friends.
Hey, dude,
Yeah.
you're like 20 minutes from Doheny. We could go surf Doheny.
So I just
Thursday
think
afternoons. I'm down in San Clemente.
of Thursday afternoons. I got to pick up my kid. So it is different, even with you and kids. Like you there, I knew there was a difference. You have round the clock childcare at least presently, right? When you have someone that can step in at
Yeah.
any time.
Yeah.
I don't. Like when on my days off, I have to take my child to school and pick them
Yeah.
up. So
You should
But
take
there's
her
a whole lot
surfing.
of time in the middle of the day.
actually, if I'm
there.
being fair, I don't take her on my days off. I just,
Oh, the truth comes
But I have to
out.
pick-
Put her in a Waymo.
no,
Instead of, like, good
Kiara
luck.
takes her on my days, but I have to pick her up.
Yeah,
So I would
Hey,
have the
we
mornings.
could surf early.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we could.
Dawn
Yeah.
patrol.
It'd be
at
fun
uppers.
to
It'd be
to
I
get
have
you
done
out
that
in-
a few times over the years. Just hasn't happened with any degree of regularity.
It'd be fun though to get you down there. Have you ever surfed with Chad?
No,
Yeah,
is
that'd
it?
be fun.
What am I missing?
Yeah,
out
it's
on just Chad
Hey,
Stoke.
Yeah, Chad being hyped
Chad, if
on.
you're listening, that wasn't a dig. I was
Weekday
just-
dawn patrol at why would you think that was a dig?
Well,
Weekday dawn
Because I
patrol.
said-
Weekday
said
dawn
what-
patrol might be a fun Sano thing. If it wasn't pumping surf,
Yeah.
I could see myself surfing then. But maybe you'd rather just go to Doheny. You know what I'm saying?
no,
If
I
Chad
have
is
no.
listening right now, I
Wait,
guarantee
you don't
he
like
just got
Doheny?
so psyched.
You
I
like,
have zero interest in
Why?
going to
You surf
Doheny.
Sano today?
dude, Doheny's so much
You
more
did?
fun than Sano.
He did. Yeah.
We bailed because
It's
the line
usually
was an
such a
hour long.
small. It's such a small wave,
Oh, but it's such a great shaped wave, and it's so nice when it's windy.
and it's
Sorry,
a
Chad.
polluted. It's
If
one of
you
the
want
most
that.
polluted beaches.
That's true, but only after it rains. Yeah.
It's worse after it rains, but there's polluted water that's going into
No,
Doheny.
no.
I'd
once
say
the-
6 months out of the year.
Yeah, that's
that's
about right. But that's about how often the rainy season is. All right, like once it
Yeah.
stops raining for the spring, and then some swell comes in and stirs that water up and like cleans it up, then
have
the
a-
berm gets built, and then
Much better chance of getting me down to like Mags or the river.
that's way farther for you though.
Yeah, it's way farther.
I mean,
What about San Clemente, like north side of the pier?
no,
You got a lifeguard there.
no, a lifeguard.
That you
What
know.
about trails? Trails if it's pumping.
What would I need a lifeguard for? What do you?
He
We've
could,
seen
just tell
you
you,
surf.
he could just tell you where the best waves are.
Oh, okay.
He would just say right there, north side of the pier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Maybe I'll
okay,
do-
that okay from Jesse was, I'm not about to ask someone who works down at the beach and spends all their time down here where's the best place to
Oh,
go.
stop it! Stop with the pretense. We all know none of us have ever gone up to a lifeguard tower and been like, "Hey, where's the best waves
Oh,
around here, man?"
All the time.
That is so
What?
funny.
Yes. If
know.
I haven't,
You've gone up to a friend you know in Newport and been like, "What's working?" But you don't go to a random beach and just ask the lifeguard, "Where's the best waves around here?"
I've
That's
done
like
it at
kook.
Mags.
That's true.
true. I don't,
You don't. Don't even pretend like you do.
but I do it at
That's
the
different.
beach that I do it if someone I know is working down
Yeah,
there.
but that's a social thing.
Yeah,
You're going up,
yeah,
"Hey, dude,
I
has it what's been going it's not you don't go to a random beach that you don't go to a lot of times and just approach the lifeguard like, "Where's the best waves around here?" Because you know you'd look like a total fucking kook.
I don't even. I think it's funny when people even ask me like, "How is it out there?" And it's like, "Go look, dude. You're like."
And I would
You're
never do
50
that.
feet
Even
from
if
there.
they could give me good information, I wouldn't put myself through that embarrassment.
But you could do it with Hayden because
Yeah.
that's not
you
just a lifeguard.
That's
It's a
true.
friend.
like the terms you just
I agree
set
with
up.
Jesse though. I'd rather just figure it out.
You
on my
literally
own.
just set yourself up with those terms.
Because
Unless it's a buddy you know,
Correct.
and you do know, and he's your buddy, right?
but I also feel like he'd be
Yeah.
desperate for you to
Is
come
he-
down there anyway, so he would really try to hype up the surf.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, he'd be like,
I'm
north
not-
side of the pier is
Yeah,
popping.
which is maybe
so
what you
good.
need. A little hype guy.
I'm not going to the north side of the pier. The areas in San Clemente I would go to, or Trails,
Pay drags.
Calafia. I'd go to Trails, Calafia, or Uppers. That's it.
State guy, nice. State beach guy.
Those
Hell
are
yeah.
good beaches to go to.
But the north side of the pier is like, it's just, first of all, the quality of surfer there is really, I'd say, pretty good oftentimes. And like I'm trying to, if I'm trying to get waves, I don't need to be like battling out with some 14-year-old
What if you ran
ripper.
into my day again?
Yeah, but if it's during school hours,
That's true. And isn't that like a really mushy, like kind of like nothing burger of a wave for the most part?
No, when I went down there, I tried to take some video of Hayden, and I videoed another guy getting a barrel, in and out barrel.
Oh,
Does
and
that
I
answer your
think
question?
it can be pretty good.
I will try.
It
I'll
did-
try to go a couple times.
It looked like fun surf, but I agree. Like it just feels like, spots that just feel out of the way that
Yeah.
you're just not going to go to.
You know what would be fun to go to again, I think, is a fun wave is Salt Creek.
Oh, I got there all the time.
Do you still go there?
You got to talk in the mic, but I don't surf there. I don't surf there, but I go there and take video because it's right on my way home because I drive PCH. And sometimes I stop there to take a leak too because it's a really convenient bathroom to
Nice.
take a leak at.
You don't.
I have
never
not
had fun
surfed Salt
surfing
Creek. I've had fun there, but I have not surfed there in so long.
Yeah, neither.
Years.
Dude, some of the video I got there recently, it was pumping. There were like 5 guys out in that like gravel section, like north of the point there, and it was like head high barreling peaks, and there were like 5 guys out. It was crazy.
Salt Creek has one of the gnarlier reforms of any wave in the air. Like it, we've surfed some pretty big creek, and
You gotta talk in the mic, bro.
right. I
Yes.
think I like remember going out there on some pretty big days where like that short, or like if you could almost link one up into the shore and it breaks really hard. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
I've never actually gotten it that good when I've surfed there. It's always been like I've always gone to surf there because it wasn't good at home, and if it's not good at home, it's not gonna be good at Salt
Yeah.
Creek probably either.
Maybe a little less windy.
Yeah, that's what you would think, right? But I don't know.
Is
It's
there
like
kelp forest still there?
Yeah.
Like out to the left,
I don't
like
know.
south.
Remember we
or
went
to the left?
spearfishing there?
I think
Yeah.
there is.
It was a sick kelp forest.
It was pretty deep.
Very
right?
deep, yeah.
I think I remember going there after my eye injury and when I couldn't equalize as well. And it's like, I can't dive at Salt Creek anymore. It's I think anything more than like 15 feet,
Really.
it's more painful. And Salt Creek was like, you had to dive like 25 or 30 feet.
No,
I
way
think,
deeper than
or
that.
more.
I think it's
Okay.
like 40 to 50, 60.
Yeah, that was too much for me.
I don't think that. I think the time that I went there with you the first time, though, was way before that because I remember Danny was with us.
Yeah.
And
Spearing Garibaldi's.
I remember we got pulled over
Well,
because
that's a huge
we were
allegation.
driving on PCH, and I think it might have been Danny. This sounds like it's something Danny would say. Like, you're awfully close to that police car, David. Do you remember this?
No,
You
but
were-
that does sound like something that Danny would say.
And then we got pulled over
By
I
the
got pulled
police.
over by the
Oh,
police
I
for
vaguely
tailgating.
do. Yeah.
Why do I
do-
feel like I was there for
I
that?
think you were. I think
I
it was
was.
all of us.
Were
and
we in
Danny.
your mom's van?
Yeah.
No, we were in the Volvo. No,
You
it must not have been the Volvo. It must have been.
The Jetta.
You didn't
the
get in
Jetta.
trouble though.
Yeah.
He was just like,
He's
"Why
like,
are you
"What are you
tailgating
doing?"
me?"
Yeah.
You were
I
like,
was
"Oh, I'm sorry, man." He's like, "All right, well, don't tailgate."
one
like,
car
you know
per
I'm a
10 miles
cop,
an
right?
hour.
Everyone gets 4 car lengths, dude.
Since I know-
Respect gets respect.
You don't know this guy we're talking about, but in reference to the Garibaldi, one of our first time spearfishing, we were out with Danny, and
This
he
is
was
like a high school friend of ours.
he was getting frustrated. He's like, "These fuckers are just like looking at me because they know they're protected, and I just so badly want to get one." We're like, "Don't do it." He came up and he's like, "I got one." And it's like flipping on the edge of a spear. I'm like, "Danny, that's a state fish, bro. Like it's probably a $25,000 fine or something, or jail time maybe. I don't know." But he did get one.
I think that was my first interaction with you and Hayden too, was talking about questionable spearing ethics. And I remember I think I remember counseling you guys, like, you guys shouldn't, like, you guys get in a lot of trouble, I think. Like, if you get caught by fishing game.
We
By the way-
luckily never got caught.
None of this. We're not talking about real
How'd you
Garibaldi.
go
We
to
never
jail then?
poached the state
Lookalikes.
fish, though. We
Well,
never
yeah.
poached that.
What were you poaching? I mean, obviously you weren't, but if you were, what would you have poached theoretically or hypothetically?
Statutes.
I
of
guess my
limitations are over.
style of fishing at that time frame was very
Small.
much more
By
of,
the seat of your pants.
anything that moves.
MPAs be damned.
Nice.
But that's what sucks about spearfishing though, is you can't like catch and release. Like
Yeah.
at least rod and reel, you can still hunt.
But you can
and
release.
Yeah. We did a lot of releases.
I was like, you can definitely release. I mean, they might,
And we just pronged them, so it wasn't like a full gun.
So
a
you
lot
were
of
kinda
times
like-
they were like
it's kind
It's
of like
a prong. Walk it off.
it's the difference between a wolf
mean, a lot
that
of them
kills
do
and
swim
eats
away.
everything. You were like a big cat. You were killing for sport.
yeah, we were trying
an
to
orca.
hone in our skill is what we were telling ourselves. And then our conscience really kicked in.
Oh, you had
Um,
hunter's remorse.
We I mean it was just like what is the purpose? What
That's
was
how I
of
feel
this?
fishing on a sport boat when you start.
Were you
going through
using
all
a
that
gun
bait.
or
I
like
agree with
old
you.
school
I've
slings?
been there, right
Because those have the prongs, the like three.
been there.
Yeah, it's like oh, this feels tough.
Yeah.
Wait, what does?
Fishing with live bait. and
Fishing
being-
with live
Oh.
bait. David has
Feels like the
still
same thing.
refused.
I fished with bait last time
Oh yeah.
for a little bit. I
Wait,
didn't
are
like
you
it though.
I
ethically
hated it.
ethically opposed to it?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I'm not against other people doing it 'cause I don't really care.
I think
But it does feel bad like when you're fishing on these sport boats, dude. You put a new fish on your hook like every 20 seconds, dude, for hours. Like
Yeah.
you do have to remember if you were a little smaller or not even smaller with some of the like they would have no sympathy for you.
Yeah,
I know,
but,
but I know,
we are
but-
better than them.
but yeah, and then you're
Are we?
adopting the same
Are we,
moral
though?
code. Or
I know, but they're eating me, and they're at least eating me for like calories. This is like me sending them off to their death, and they're probably not even gonna
So
get
cool.
eaten. They're just
And
gonna. I mean, they'll
giving
get
them,
eaten
like,
by
pretty
crabs.
wicked piercing usually too.
Yeah.
Process. And maybe like a hard squeeze, so they like are like, oh fuck, my back is broken.
I mean, here's the thing: is like I don't think it's that bad that I'm like, oh, people shouldn't do this. Like I'm like, oh yeah, but first of all, one of the big things is fishing with bait is so fucking messy and gross because you get scales all over you and shit. If you don't fish with bait, you don't deal with any of that. So there's a real practical reason for it. And then second of all, it does sort of weigh on my conscience after I fucking pierced like the 100th fucking live animal and slimed it all like pretty much like certified its
dangled
death
it
and
on
been
your
like,
fishing rod and was
Yeah.
like, go.
zzz, and then when it's not a good swimmer and you need to get a new one, you're like,
You would not make a good commercial fisherman then.
No,
no, I don't
I
think
mean,
I
there's all
would.
sorts of yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I get it.
I used live bait on that last fishing trip, and I probably used at least 50 to 60, and I caught 3 bluefins, I think.
I think it would be different if I was a commercial fisherman though too.
yeah, if you're making your living.
And
Doing it?
and I was actually catching stuff. What really hurts is when
I'm
you
doing
do
this for you, girls.
Dude, what really hurts is when you do this for 500 fish, dude. Like, and you don't catch shit, and you're like, well,
just feeding the bluefin.
that was pretty masochistic of me.
Well, now, is there a difference? Like, if you were on land, is there a hard line for you as far as like you'd never hunt? Is it only fishing you'd ever do?
I hunted. No, I would hunt, but dude, I tried hunting, and dude, you know what's crazy about hunting is you have to wake up super fucking early, hike somewhere in the dark before sunup, lie perfectly still as the sun is coming up, and and wait for the deer.
That
and
sounds like a nightmare.
no, dude, you just fall. I just fell right back asleep every time, like because you're perfectly still and like it's like 6 a.m. and you're like, okay,
You went deer hunting?
yeah, bow hunting.
Did you
Northern
get any?
California, right?
What?
You get any deer?
No, dude. One time I went with Nick. I won't say his last name, but I went with my friend Nick, and there was one time, dude, when I fell asleep, and he's like, I woke up to him hitting me like this, and I'm like, what? He's like, shh. And I looked over, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a deer, hell yeah. So I just realized, you know what, dude, I'm not a hunter.
Well, did you actually take any shots or no?
No.
Oh,
But you had everything. You had like a bow, a recurve bow,
I had a bow. I was ready to, dude. I was
a
not.
massive a massive cooler for the meat.
Yeah. I
for
was
the flanks.
I was questioning though whether I like how it would feel for me to like be fucking looking at a dead deer in the eyes, you know, while I was cutting a circle around its anus to zip tie its butt intestines shut, you know, and then like carving it. You know what I mean? Like carving up a
like
mammal. Like there's a separation there with fish that when I'm cutting up a fish, I don't feel anything, but like a deer is close to a dog, and I love my dog, you know. I think
That's
it could
fair.
be tough.
Yeah.
but it's weird. You don't have. It's. I guess it's that is an interesting thing. It's the act of you doing it, right? Like if you smashed a deer with your car, you'd just be enraged that you'd fuck up your car. You wouldn't feel
I'd
very
be-
sorry.
I'd be bummed for the deer.
I'd be
But
sad
I
to
think
watch
for the
a
most
deer
part,
die.
you'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm in such a predicament." You wouldn't be like, "Oh my god, I just killed a deer." Like,
I'd be
Let's be
super
honest.
bummed if. Yeah, I
Really?
mean, I'd be worried about my car, but I'd also be. I'd be super bummed if I killed. I
okay.
mean, I've done it before.
What if the deer's just lying there, not dead, just screaming, crying, though?
no, like let's say
bleeding?
you just take out a deer, but it takes out your car and you're safe. Your first thought is for the deer.
No,
But what? Okay, but what if you get out of your car and
probably
that,
for the safety of
and that
whoever's
deer's
in my
No,
car.
that's assured.
I
Like,
know, but you're in this scenario. The deer's dead. In my scenario, the deer's alive and bleeding at you, bleh, bleh, with like 4 broken legs.
I'm attending to my car first. There's nothing I can do for
No,
him.
I
or
know,
her.
but you're
Yeah.
not going to feel bad.
My first reaction would be, "You
Would you take a
stupid
tire?
motherfucker."
Would you take a tire iron to put it out of its misery to shut it up?
I mean,
Right?
I don't know. I guess the point I'm trying to make is there is a pretty big distinction between actively going out and hunting and killing something and just creaming some wildlife on the road.
I'd actually feel worse about hitting it with my car because you can't eat it then.
Yeah.
You can eat it if
Oh,
you hunt it.
I mean, you can.
No, you can't. It's not
People
legal.
repurpose roadkill though.
It's not
That's a
legal.
major thing, like
I
in
think in
native
some
communities.
states it might be though.
In
Right?
some states, I think they
you
even
think
have like
on
roadkill tags. But
Indian reservations.
I felt
probably.
really bad one time. I hit a dog
nice.
in Tahoe,
Oh.
and it looked like it survived. It went like and like ran off, but
Do you-
that really upset me. But
Do you remember when this is so long ago when I forget we might have been going to a baseball game with Julie in the car, and she hit a cat, and it was like
yeah.
obviously like killed this cat. Like it like kind of tried to run afterwards, but you could like everyone in the car like felt it or whatever,
Oh.
and she like freaked out, and then she's like they like swerved, still hit it. And then she was like, I think it made it. Like,
And
I
we're
didn't
like,
hit it. And we're like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, I think so. Like, looking back, we're like, this cat is done. There's no way. And she's like, no, I think I didn't hit it. And we're like,
one of the most distressing things that ever happened now, and this is an interesting topic, but let's go with it. Is when you murdered an entire family of ducks.
I remember that. That was right.
That was terrible.
I don't even, unfortunately, I don't know if this is
There was
worse. I
nothing
don't
that
even
could
know
be
if it was a
done.
whole family. I think like a couple of the like little ducklings may have survived.
some wheel hunting.
There was nothing you could have done. It was that or a head-on collision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh boy, that was bad.
Was the algae bloom affecting you? And you went
That was
crazy.
right by the Volcom skate park, I think, going on that street. They were probably coming from or going to that park there.
I will say,
Yeah.
I do my very best, and sometimes have almost gotten accidents to avoid relatively small animals, even like a mouse on 395 at night.
Oh,
I'll try
yeah.
to like take
Yeah.
that, which happens 10 times throughout your drive.
What
So-
if you just did that religiously, even for bugs coming at your windshield? And you were just constantly
No,
swerving.
slowing down.
Yeah.
Screeching to a stop.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever hunt. I don't want to like kill mammals at all.
I don't think I would want to do that really, and also it's just I'm not into it. It's not how I want to spend my time.
Yeah, it was
You
really
know?
inconvenient. If we had more deer around here, I think I would do it.
Like
If it was more successful, I think I would do it.
like what
Yeah,
David is
if it
saying
was
though is like
more-
it feels like so many of the days you might go out and get nothing and have to just like
A lot of
Be
hiking
really committed
with heavy firepower.
to not deposit like to maybe being able to like do the thing that you like to do.
Well,
If
deer
that's-
here though aren't like they are in like the South and the Midwest where they're like pests there and
Yeah.
everywhere. It's like they're
Northern
here,
California, they're pretty big pests.
still not to the level of
I would say though, have you noticed recently? I don't know if you've been paying attention to like the wolves are making a
come back.
even bigger comeback now in Northern California, and people are losing their minds over it. And it's interesting to me how like
It's awesome.
it's interesting to me though how like freaked out people are. Like if you look at the online discourse, like an account will post like there's been a attack of another cattle or whatever, and it's like then you look at the numbers of the actual number of cattle that are and people are like this is terrible. They never should have been reintroduced. By the way, they weren't reintroduced. They've just
Yeah.
moved,
migrate.
and like
Migrated
people are
down.
losing their mind, and it's like I think some of these counties have lost like 15 head of cattle for the whole year, and people are losing their minds.
Yeah.
You know, that's his money or whatever. And it's like it's just I don't know, it's just crazy to me.
yeah.
It's the same thing like if you spend enough time on Nextdoor or these apps locally here, it's a pet peeve of mine. People, the amount of times people post saying there was a coyote this morning and it was on the street and everyone like watch out and like lock up your pet. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
The
No, that's
mentality
good.
is really to post that there was a coyote in the morning. Everyone know there's operate on the assumption there's a coyote in the morning,
I mean,
evening.
that doesn't seem
I'm not doing it, but if somebody wants to let me know that there's a coyote in the neighborhood, then
that doesn't
yeah,
seem
like-
as bad as someone decrying wolves just existing in California because they're occasionally picking off cattle.
I think the reason I make the connection is the discourse beneath those comments is very similar, which is like
Yeah,
F
yeah.
these motherfuckers. They're eating cats.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like attacking, and it's like,
I
well,
wish I would eat
if you
my
let your
cat, dude.
I don't know.
I let Penny go out front every night thinking
So they
You should've let-
yeah.
You
They
should
just
let
did a
Brad's parents
study-
take it to the river.
and they just did a study on grizzly bear reintroduction
I
in
know.
California.
It's going through I think legislation right now.
And
Like
the three areas they deemed it would be possible: Eastern Sierra,
and
Santa Barbara Mountains, and like
San local, like San Bernardino.
oh, did they? Was that one of the?
Why
Yep.
would they do that?
I think it would be amazing
I
Why?
root for
But
it.
why? What is their argument
to
do
balance
that?
out the ecosystem.
They said there's a lot of black bears, right? They said that I think the black bear population would dip a little bit if they did do it. I'm all for it. I know that I'm in the minority, I think, on this.
Can you
This
imagine
couch?
camping in Big Pine?
But it sounds like you like the idea too.
Yeah.
Imagine skiing now at Big Bear and there's like a
It's
grizzly
winter.
bear.
They're
This
not gonna-
winter, skiing is chill.
Yeah, but
It's more the backpacking
there's
that would
not
suck.
always winter bears though
But-
in these kind of low elevation mountains.
Grizzly bears are not the same as black bears. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but I don't think they're near as problem bears as far as like trash
I don't think. I mean,
and that's
Yeah,
or like
I think
they're-
they are.
I think they are.
really?
no.
They're
don't think
killers, dude.
Yeah, they are, but I don't think the places that grizzlies already exist have tons of issues with them coming into like town or houses and doing stuff. I think if you are unlucky and encounter them in the backcountry, you could potentially have a bad,
I mean, when we
bad time with them.
I don't
talk to
know
the
about
ranger, they when you camp in those campgrounds, they like have you have your kitchen cooking food, anything scented one area and then like 100 something.
Yeah, but that's a
feet.
campground like out. It's not like in.
But
I don't think they're
But I'm
coming.
just trying to make the argument that like they're attracted to scents.
No, they
and,
are,
like,
but I'm
that
saying they're not
stuff.
like they don't become the
And why wouldn't they be attracted to like the smell of a pizza?
well. They could be
Well,
attracted. I'm
and the
saying, but
trash
they're
can.
not. They have a very
'Cause
different
big bears gonna have
lifestyle
a
than
shit
black
ton of
bears,
that.
and I don't think
Well-
they have the same issues in areas with grizzlies that they have with black bears. Just constantly raiding like dumps. It's like it's not.
Well, the black bears of like Yosemite and Tahoe are on like another level.
Yeah, but
They're-
Why don't
even
they just
but
give
even
out,
like
like,
bear
black
like
bear tags?
like in Mammoth or Big Bear where it wouldn't be
You
uncommon.
don't think in Yellowstone they have
or like the bear, your bear? No, in Yellowstone,
they do take
Well,
bears?
but Yellowstone's not like it's a national park. I'm saying if you went to like a comparable
Jackson.
city in the mountains, I don't think they have I don't think Jackson is
McCall.
dealing with like grizzly bears in town at dumpsters like you would in Mammoth with a black bear. Do you know? I'm not 100%
Are there a
sure.
lot of grizzlies there in Jackson?
Well, they're
There's
there.
grizzlies in
Yeah.
Montana.
Or
In
McCall
Wyoming.
or Bozeman or any of those.
Yeah, there's I think some.
I just
pretty
don't
I
think-
bet wherever
grizzlies.
there's grizzlies, they have grizzlies in town.
Yeah,
I don't think that. Well, look,
I mean,
we
they have
can we'll
moose.
figure it out.
they have like moose coming right up into town.
I think it's way more common to have moose come into town than grizzlies.
Grizzlies are just more successful hunter. Like I don't think they need to stoop to
But
that
they're
level.
opportunistic as well. Like they eat
Yeah.
anything.
I just don't see why they wouldn't.
But they
Yeah.
also have a very different environment. Grizzlies really, for the most part, like don't need like black bears for the most part really thrive in like the forest.
They don't like Italian food.
Oftentimes grizzlies
you guys, these
grizzlies like occupy right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but they occupy like different zones oftentimes than black bears. Like they cross over, but they're not like grizzlies typically don't like just live in like the forest like black bears.
I'll see. My prediction is that grizzly bears are not commonly trash bears.
And they can handle much different environments. Like grizzlies in California, until they were eradicated, they were coastal. Black bears were not. Grizzlies lived in like Laguna in the
I bet there
1800s.
I bet there were black bears in Laguna.
I think you could
Yes.
research more, but
Trash.
There's black bears in like there's black bears in like the Santa Monica Mountains, and those go right up to the
Yeah.
ocean. I'm sure there were black bears in all these local foothills.
Why wouldn't there be?
my point is obviously it's a different species of bear.
I agree with you on most of your
and
point.
they occupy different like biomes.
But then why are they trying to introduce the grizzly bears to help the black bear population?
I think that was just like a side benefit.
Well-
I don't think that was the main reason for
it's
introducing
to help
them.
the ecosystem.
It would-
I
would
still don't
lower- it would
understand
lower the black
why
bear
are they
population.
trying to introduce grizzly bears? Where is their positive?
Let's
'Cause
hear
it's
a
their
better
environment?
thing is why do you not want them?
Safety. That's a big
Safety?
one. Yeah, safety.
Okay, but hold on.
What do you mean?
Let's look at the numbers.
Yeah, they're not very. I
Let's
think-
look at the numbers here. How many people in the lower 48 die of grizzly bear attacks every year? I bet it's single
But
digits.
and David's made this point before that if
I
you
mean-
put them in a way more popular area, maybe that number would go
a
up.
popular area. How about a national park that sees
I agree.
how many million? Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, but it's not. It's also
It's not the same park
that's
though.
do you mean?
Yosemite and Yellowstone aren't the
No,
same
no,
kind of park.
there's dense areas
Yeah, that's
of those
true.
parks.
But I'm saying they're already in areas that see millions of visitors. Think about
people died there.
glacier. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's super rare.
But also,
Yeah, but
I
how
kind of
many
agree,
people
but
are
think-
going-
Millions.
think about how those millions of people enjoy
yeah,
Yellowstone.
It's the same way of
Out of their
Yellowstone,
car.
Glacier.
A lot of them
like-
enjoy hiking.
Here's
People don't hike Glacier National
But you
Park.
know
Here's
what?
how
They
I
hike
feel
with
about
bear
it.
spray.
Okay.
Here's how I feel about it.
I
I
agree.
don't think the Bears should have been. It's a shame that they were driven out, but now that they're out, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And if they want to make their way back in naturally, like the Wolves are doing, then
Yeah.
good for them.
But hold on a
But I don't
second.
want to be. I don't want to be paying tax money to like bring in purposely bring them back because
I think it's a mental.
don't-
It's a mental. It's all the way you look at it. And the reason I say this is look at this. If
Let's bring back salmon
Orca-
before we bring back grizzlies.
orca and
we got to bring
great
them both
white
back.
roam
Grizzlies need the salmon.
the California
Well,
coast,
when we have so much salmon that we are running, overflowing, then we'll bring grizzly bears and they'll eat the salmon and they'll keep them in balance.
no one complains. No one
We
freaks
don't
out
want to
about
just
great
oh,
whites
here's
in
a grizzly
California.
bear.
I don't want a great white breeding
We were
program.
just talking about how it's hard to hunt game in California, and now we're going to introduce it.
I would
Jesse, if they said we're going to start an offshore great white breeding program off of Newport Beach, I'd be like, no, you're not.
But you have to look at the numbers, right? And the fact of the matter is, okay, most people who enjoy the ocean have no problem going in the ocean. I would argue you're at a much greater danger even there, and that danger is infinitesimally small, encountering a great white shark that probably has about the same interest in you as a grizzly. Typically most human grizzly interactions do not end with the person being mauled or attacked. That's still exceedingly rare. Like and the numbers bear that out. So it's like, how is it really?
Ooh, good one.
How is it really any more dangerous hiking now with a few grizzlies in California? They're not. I mean, first of all, they don't. Grizzly populations can't support like massive mounts. Like they need their range is huge.
Well,
it's not like they're not gonna. Grizzlies don't exist in the abundant numbers that black bears do because they require more food and they just have a much bigger range. Like you're not any more dangerous walking around California with a few grizzly bears than you are paddling out at trails with great white. Like I don't see how's it any different.
I purposely try to avoid great whites. I'm not going to go surf. I'm not going to go surf somewhere where great whites are prevalent. I'm not going to go to Point Reyes. Yeah.
They're very prevalent where you surf. They're prevalent at trails. There's tons of drone videos of them everywhere.
The only time I've ever seen a great white
but
is
okay,
at trails.
okay, but here's
They've
the thing.
attacked people in Newport Beach.
I know, but if the great whites were all
Hey,
gone,
one time.
if the great whites were driven away, fished to extinction in Southern California, and they said, guys, we're going to start a great white breeding program in Newport Beach, I'd say, fuck that, dude. They can make their way back in here if they want, but we're not doing this shit on purpose.
I think
right?
it's all about your perception.
But what if they said that it wasn't going to be a breeding ground in Newport Beach, but that they were just generally going to reintroduce sharks back to the area that they were no longer in?
Great
the
whites?
fact of the matter
No.
is, like that's not
Okay,
where our
But I
Okay.
think they kind of did that.
Guys,
didn't
we're
they,
gonna
though?
bring
Because-
some big 12 footers
Like
into
their
Newport
seal
Beach. I'd be like,
projects?
no, dude.
But not into Newport, like into like Southern California. They're all,
No, I don't want them to.
I think our outrage.
I think the more
I'm
outrage
less
is-
worried about great white sharks than I am a grizzly bear.
Really?
A grizzly bear, I would.
I think
the
the more.
amount of attacks or fatal attacks is probably pretty similar.
All right, hold on. What do you think? More great white attacks in the United States, or
Let's-
maybe the world over?
let's
More
look
great
at-
white attacks or more grizzly attacks
Well, there's been
per year?
Well,
What do you
so then
think?
we're going like brown bear because
Well-
like if we're going world, grizzlies are like.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we just talking? No, we'd just be talking. The
I bet
US.
fools get
Okay,
chomped in
US.
Russia, though.
Yeah.
I bet you
I mean,
bears
it seems
do
like
some
California, as of
fucking
late, has
work,
been
dude.
averaging maybe
Especially
every
when
2-3
mothers
years a
are
fatal
walking
great white
around with their
attack.
cubs.
What if it was polar bears?
Oh, dude, that video that I sent you is so gnarly.
Would you feel the same if it was
Yeah,
polar bears?
There might have been polar bears,
I sent it to you,
10,000
right?
years ago.
Here's the thing, though: the outrage is misplaced, right? Like, no one, you don't spend your day bemoaning the fact that of random crime that occurs in California, right? You just go about your life. You could be the victim of it. You don't freak out when there's like, oh my God, there's more fatal
I know,
accidents.
but
in Orange
you
County.
don't
though, when
understand, though,
crime is
Jesse.
a
If they
problem.
drove all the crime out of Southern California and they said, guys, we need more, we're going to bring some criminals in to balance
So
it
we're-
out, I would say, no, we're not going to do that.
Bring them in. It's gotten a little too chummy here.
Sharks and grizzly bears.
We need to balance this ecosystem out.
If they naturally come in, if the criminals naturally make their way back into the ecosystem, I get it. Hey, it's
Are
going to
the
happen.
Are the criminals the grizzly
for
bears
them.
in this?
Yes, and the sharks.
Yes.
Terrible.
Are they not?
Yeah.
I agree with grizzly bears are criminals.
If you're
Violent criminals.
Violent.
Very
very violent.
if your enjoyment of nature and like the outdoors is predicated on like making sure like another species can't survive, like I think there's something inherently
I agree.
bad with that.
I know it's infinitesimally small chances, but I like the added risk of having like a full ecosystem to be out in. Like if it's full, if there's nothing there that can like do you in, whether it's an animal or just situations, then it's like it's not as good, not as cool.
I think you just have to start like carrying.
But you know what? I mean, not that I have like a
I
vast
think I would.
range of experience here,
I think I would start if there would become grizzlies. I'd start carrying in
But-
the Sierras.
when I went backpacking in the Wind River Range where there are grizzlies, and everything I read before going there was like, yeah, you should bring bear spray, and we brought it. And after doing that, I was like, if I went there again, I wouldn't bring bear spray. It was so chill.
Yeah, but that
And
doesn't mean though that
How awesome is
just
this?
means it was chilled that
No,
time.
no. I talked to no. It was like a popular trailhead, and I talked to a bunch of people that live out there, and they're like, you don't have to worry about it here. They are there,
Really?
but no, like very few other people had bear spray.
Do you think it was that trailhead, though? Kind of like how Big Pine is bear free?
Maybe, but I think that happens in a lot of those areas because hunting restrictions are like open, So if
Yeah.
you're in an area where humans go And
Ironically,
Oh, that's true. Okay, let grizzlies back in, but don't protect them. Let the hunters have at them. If they
ironically too, you're talking about like I'd be packing. You'd probably be better off, honestly, unless you were really, really handy with a gun with really high strength bear spray than a weapon.
I'd have both.
I'll tell you
I
what, it's
think I'd do
way
both, for
way
sure.
sicker to
Let's start.
hide your food from bear, or like bears are just animals in that country. You don't have to bring a bear canister. You don't have to hang your food. People literally find boulders and there's like a bunch of these already existing. There's like huge like logs that they piled rocks on one side. So you just hang your backpack on these like sticks.
I mean,
And that was
the
the way that
the good
everyone
news
hung
about
their-
grizzlies, it's the same, I think, ultimate thing they're coming to find out about great whites, which is generally, and there's clearly exceptions like the bear whisperer where the bears were like starving all season, but generally they don't see you as food
Yeah.
and you're not on the menu. So unless you are unfortunate enough
No,
to come
but
across
they
a
could still
sow,
maul you and mess you up, and then be like, "All right, he's playing dead.
but
I'm done."
for the most
I
part,
showed that fool.
grizzly human
that
interaction, even when it's relatively close quarters, doesn't end like that.
Sometimes it does, though.
I know,
would
but
like to.
well,
I would like to hear
yes.
the perspective of somebody that actually lives in grizzly territory and like grew up there.
I don't
I'm not totally anti-grizzly and anti-shark. I'm just saying.
I'm just a little.
I don't
anti.
think honestly
I just
though,
don't support like
wolves
spending money
is
and
a
going
different
out of our
thing.
way to
You
reintroduce
talk to people
them.
in Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, if they're like conservative and ranchers, they're very anti-wolf. But I don't think most of those people are anti-grizzly. It's like a point of pride in that part of the country that like grizzlies exist. Like they're not
But
a
they're
blight
also,
on lob.
like,
they're
they
not a
know
blight.
They're like they're packing.
They're packing, and
Most of those
also
people,
I
like,
think
they're
this
not
goes
like,
to the
"I'm just
point where
hawking around."
I don't think there's a whole bunch of grizzly human interaction because I don't think they're mostly in the same spaces. You know, like they're
know.
not. I don't think
I think
grizzlies
they're
are
pretty
generally coming
regular.
down to like ranch land and like terrorizing.
No,
I think
Ranchers,
they
like,
follow the
cattle
herd.
stock.
I think this is all nullified though by the fact that grizzlies kill people like every couple of years and black bears don't.
that's not true. A black bear just killed two. A black bear killed someone last week in Cal.
Okay, fine,
and a
put them on the
guy
list,
and
too.
his dog.
Yeah,
And
why
that
don't
lady
we
got
just, like,
hunted in
if
Tahoe.
black
or-
bears are such a problem. Why don't we
Like
just
Jake,
have black
would
bear
you be pumped if
tags?
they were like, we're gonna put black bears back into Big Pine? Or would you,
Heck yeah,
or would
that'd
you
be
rather have
sick.
it be bear free?
No, I would vote for bears.
I'm down for black bears.
No, I,
I
want it
like-
to be bear free.
I like bear interaction. All the bear interactions I've had have been at
mind a
worst
black bear.
memorable and at best like enjoyable. Like I like bear interactions.
I mean, listen, I like
You're
black
just a big
bears,
dumb bear.
but I don't like having to. I don't like the inconvenience of having to like protect food from them.
Here's the. I'll meet you halfway. I want bear. I'm more a fan of bears being all over this year, like where
them,
they should
right?
be.
Declaw
But you
them.
should be allowed to hang your food. You shouldn't have to bring a bear canister.
Yeah.
The
I
bear
do-
canister
I do
is
know what you
the
mean,
lame
though,
part.
To a point.
Yeah.
Like if they said like, you know what? One in
Who's
Mil-
they?
like authorities.
You know who they is.
It hasn't ever existed, I don't think, unless maybe thousands of years ago. But imagine there was a poisonous snake or spider, like a deadly snake that used to exist in California. Like, we're gonna bring it back. Like, I get what you mean. Like, there's some stuff probably where like, oh no,
Yeah,
it's
most.
not.
I think like mammals or larger animals I'm for, but if they're like, we have this like spider that went, that we drove out and it's a house spider and we're bringing it back. It's really venomous. I would not be on board for that.
What about the dire wolves
Yes, bring them back.
and then the mammoths?
We should bring back
And then the
woolly.
cave
Can you imagine
bears.
going to Mammoth and like interacting with a mammoth?
Well, so you
and
know what-
not woolly.
What if they just had a large
That
one?
would
They took
honestly
out
be
their.
pretty sweet. Like in 50 years,
Well, so listen,
We're
this is
just
a
like,
trip. I've actually I've started
going to
thinking about
mammoth,
this.
and there's a mammoth there.
When I take the girls to like, not so much the Back Bay because there's so many bobcats there, but like the Irvine like parks. I'm like, dude, girls, you gotta kind of stay close to me because there's cougars there
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
there's a
like,
lot of cougars on those trails.
It could be.
gotta keep your sunglasses on.
That's just good parenting, though, right? I mean, yeah, you do, but
Now
again,
that's what I call
I mean,
parenting.
this
That's
is
another-
it's kind of a tangent because I'm not saying kill the cougars, but
that's such a
it is a crazy thing that like in the past year I've had to start to think because the girls are like now they're getting to the point where they want to run out in front of me.
sure.
And at the Back Bay, it's fucking idiots on e-bikes on the dirt trails that you got to watch out for.
Yeah. That
good news.
I bet is way more dangerous than any wild animal.
Yeah, I bet you there's
Yeah.
or the
way
odds of
more
having a bad
incidents.
interaction.
The mountain lion thing's even crazier than great whites or grizzlies. There's been, I think, 2 or
Yeah.
3
But
fatal
see,
attacks.
I'm
in
for mountain
20
lions
20.
because they were somehow managed to.
They're real ones.
Yeah, they hid. They were able to survive.
They never left.
They never left.
And
We
those
should
definitely,
change the
they
flag
just
to the
definitely
mountain
don't see you
lions.
as food.
A ballot initiative.
The California mountain lions.
How crazy it that none of us have ever seen a mountain lion in Orange County.
We saw
I've
a
seen a
huge
print.
track.
Yeah.
They've seen you, I guarantee you, but I've never seen one.
But that's
Seen
how
a
I
pretty
feel
big
about
print.
sharks too. I've never seen a great white in Newport, but I'm sure they've seen me.
I've seen a hammerhead.
Me too. I was on it. I was,
In a
was on
thresher.
I've seen a
back of,
thrasher in Newport.
the jet ski sled when all the hammerheads were there. I remember Avery was driving me around and he was like, "How sick is this?" And I was like, "It's not, dude. I'm in the water, kind of, like my feet are dangling off of
bait.
this thing." I was like, "Let's go back. I don't want to be here."
I'm being
Are
trolled.
hammerheads a seasonal shark for this part of area? Do they leave in the winter?
I don't know.
They
There was
were
just like a
just
weird
chasing
influx,
warm
like
Never
a,
should have been here in the first place.
there was like a glut of them at a certain time for I don't. We had a bunch of sightings.
It was
They
like
were all over the place.
2015.
I think it was just that warm water
Yeah,
era.
the warm years.
I did see a sea turtle once. That was cool.
We get those in Newport sometimes.
Yeah.
I've
I
seen a
had
bunch
never
of them
seen
on
one.
the kayak.
I saw one
Yeah.
in San Diego, and it blew my mind. I didn't realize they.
You
made
know where else there are? There's a lot in Long Beach too.
sea turtles?
Yeah,
Did we see
were-
sea
it was-
turtles on the kayak?
yeah, we did.
That's
Or
pretty
I
crazy.
think you did, and you sent me that photo.
Oh, okay, cool.
No
Yeah.
one believed me. I told. I
I've
was like,
seen him at Trestles, though,
"There's a freaking turtle in
and
the
I
bay."
thought it was a sea otter.
Yeah. They like warm water too, right?
The
Sea turtles?
Yeah,
Couldn't
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely do.
Hey, should we? This has been fun, but you want to transition to cart? Should
Yeah.
we like
I think
end this
so.
episode?
This was a good episode.
The final one.
Real good substance.
Still divided on whether or not grizzly should be reintroduced.
Whether an effort should be made.
Yeah, I agree. If they somehow migrate
Unionize.
into, but if they immigrate here and find a way,
Put together a
Don't
hard-nosed football
Don't
team.
send them to El Salvador.
they
then.
can find sanctuary in our mountains.
Yeah, like I don't want to
But
cull them. Like
we're
don't
not
cull
gonna
the wolves.
We're not gonna have them flown over here, and then we got to deal with them.
We're paying for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're paying for way worse things than reintroducing a species that used to be here.
Yeah, and we don't need to continue to add on.
Honestly, too, it would thin out some very undesirables in our local mountains. If you think, I mean,
It would just
I
add.
don't- I don't think it would. Those people.
it would.
Or it would give reasons for them to close things.
I think it would make people be a little bit more like on their game for going like back into places.
How
So
would you feel about that if they did like the mountain goat closure for grizzlies, grizzly closure in
Yeah.
the Sierra?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd get around it. I don't know. I'd figure it out.
But then it would be even more clustered. It's like, oh, it's
I
too
don't-
aggressive. It's like when the mothers are wandering around with their
It's rutting
cubs.
season.
Yeah, and the males are like looking to mate.
For as crowded-
everyone's just like rowdy.
For as crowded as the mountains are, really, fill in the blank. What we were talking about having a quota on, surfing days earlier. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't know. Crowds don't bother me in the things that I do.
No, they don't.
If it's
but-
crowded, if it's crowded and it's something that I'm doing too, I can like have a moment of being like, oh, but then I'm like, oh, these people are just doing the same thing that I'm doing, and I get it, and I'll go a little bit further or do something a little bit more if I really want.
That's
space.
how I feel about in LA traffic. You can't get mad. It's like they're all doing the same thing I'm doing.
I mean, I'm not mad at them, but it
I get
does
mad at
like
them if they're
I
trying to,
do
like,
get
wreck into
tired
me.
of having to like
I mean,
mitigate
facetious, I
that
hate it.
more and more. It feels like
Yeah, but it's like the only thing you can do like that helps that situation is not go yourself, like
Well,
bail.
no. Well, what it does is I think as I've gotten older, my tolerance for it has gotten lower.
Yeah.
and made me and my like I value like emptiness.
Yeah, so
more and
you
more.
figure out other places to go where it's
Yeah.
not.
Arguably, your tolerance was never.
No, but what if? But I don't know. But you can't mitigate a closure. What if they just close the area?
All
No,
right.
they
Well,
do that for a lot of things, anyways. They do that
Yeah.
for native fauna. They do
I
that
know,
for
I know.
rock
so
slides.
in this hypothetical, all right, if the
You hate
thing was,
grizzlies
yeah, we're gonna
now?
close the entire Sierra Nevada mountains, you just can't go to the mountains.
You hate
It's
grizzlies
grizzlies
now?
now.
Yeah.
Humans out, grizzlies in.
Yeah.
Then no, I would not be down for that.
Okay.
But if it worked like any other closure where they're like, oh, we have this like one tiny little area that you can't go from this date to this date, I wouldn't have an issue with that because they have that for tons of frogs and birds and
I would hate the grizzlies.
I agree. I would not for grizzlies. In
I resented
California.
the mountain goats for their closure, even though it never really affected me. But just the fact that I couldn't go there because of them, I thought, dude,
you're like, this is your version of Jesse being like, the surfing lineups are too crowded. I'm like, Jesse, when was the last time you surfed? If I was gonna surf though, it's just they're too crowded.
Hey,
it
I've
doesn't
climbed
really
in the
affect me,
mountains.
but no, I'm saying that you're saying the mountain goat closure, like it didn't affect me, but I just don't
yeah.
like the idea of them
I
holding
resent them. I
yeah.
didn't say that like they should all be killed, but I did. I did
thank
think
God.
like if I saw one, I
grizzlies though.
might throw a rock at it. You know what I'm saying?
A local man was gored on Tuesday.
I
Or
would.
what if you're trundling and you accidentally hit one? I wouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
No, I'm never gonna feel bad about trembling.
I mean, I don't know.
No matter how many lives it takes.
Imagine camping in a Diza with the knowledge that there was a grizzly possibly somewhere.
I think
around.
it'd be so sick.
Although I don't know if grizzlies see that high at elevation.
I think they might.
Yeah, they can.
I
Like,
think they can go
there's
high.
been some National Geographics.
I
where
bet
they're,
they've gone to
like,
14
up
in
the
Colorado.
mountains,
But don't they
right?
go? I
Yeah.
think it's more to just like
But they
they're-
go up there.
it's
though.
more like transitory.
and around.
Yeah.
They go up to get-
Sometimes under,
There's
maybe
an old folk
too.
song that goes, "The bear went over the mountain." The bear
Yeah.
went over the mountain.
to see what he could see. He's just going to the other side. You didn't
Must
finish the
have
song.
Gone, you must have gone to the top though. To go
Hey,
over
I
it.
understand that urge. Go to the top. You want to go to the top
And
of the
they just-
mountain
they
and
just go.
get a vista.
You
All
just
right,
need to
goodbye,
go.
everyone.
All right.
Night.